from the Elite Conference team, and I will be the moderator for today's session. So welcome back to the Elite Conference 2019, the online summit for e-commerce sellers. Elite Conference helps you connect with keynote speakers who are masters in the field of Amazon business. Through this conference, you can gain deeper insights into your Amazon business and learn how to overcome any obstacles that may be hindering your growth. So for our viewers, did you know that statistics show an 8% increase in the overall competition owing to different strategies used by sellers to create a perfect product listing? One of the very important aspects of selling is creating a brand image. The essential elements of Amazon product listings are product title, images, bullet points, and product description. So the focus of today's session will revolve around the art of Amazon listing. So for this session, we have Amy Weiss. She's the CEO of Amazing at Home Business Consulting. Her expertise lies in helping brands develop unique products and validate them in the marketplace, while also sourcing at profitable margins and launching those products in e-commerce with amazing brand message, copywriting, and search engine optimization. So, Amy, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for offering to speak with us and our viewers. So for today, Amy has a session prepared for us. And also, there is a bonus at the end of the presentation brought to you by Amy herself. So stay tuned to know more. So we will also be addressing some questions at the end of the session. So Amy will help us to answer some of those. And now let's get started. So Amy, if you could share your screen with us, we'd love to see your presentation.
Okay. Who doesn't love a PowerPoint? I used to be in the Air Force, in the United States Air Force, and we were sometimes certified in PowerPoints. So I've done some, that's what we would say. I'm a certified PowerPoint ranger. But anyway, hello everyone. I'm Amy Weiss. I've been selling on Amazon since 2007, flipping products, having fun. I've done everything from retail arbitrage, wholesale, to even thrifting. Now I have my own brand in pet retail, and I've invented a product which is kind of fun. I've been sharing that journey with my group in Amazing at Home, but I'm a total listing nerd. And I love to share that knowledge with everyone else. And the reason I'm a total listing nerd is because I'm also a search engine optimization nerd. And I know that the way you get found online is through search engine optimization and on Amazon through listing optimization. Of course, you can do PPC all day long as well, but it's not going to be as effective if you haven't optimized your listing. So I hope that this presentation today, we're going to focus on paying attention to your back end, because I can tell you, I have been on so many calls with Amazon sellers, and we have taken a look at those back-end listings on Seller Central, and they are a mess. And most people don't know how to fill them out correctly. Now, I know this conference is for elite sellers, so those people that have some great experience. So I'm going to try to pump this presentation full of some ninja tricks to help you do even better with your sales. So, why listing optimization? We talked about this a little bit. Listing optimization is the largest factor in your organic reach. It increases your PPC performance and cost. And as we mentioned, being found is the most important aspect of selling online. If the customer can't find your listing, they can't buy from you. And if your listing in a search for your main keyword does not appeal to them enough, your title and your main photo does not appeal to them enough for them to click on it, you're going to lose out on that sale. So we want to really focus on how can we not only optimize our listing for search engine optimization, but how can we make sure that every time our listing is clicked, that customer makes a buying decision. When I say largest factor in your organic reach, we're talking about you showing up organically and having great placement for the keywords that you are targeting. I've been able to write organic page one listings just through placing the right keyword phrases in the right order in Amazon listings. So I want to teach you a little bit about how to do that. And when it comes to PPC, I know some of you may be PPC nerds. I love PPC as well. But when we're talking about PPC in the bidding process, the content in your listing is considered before your placement for that ad and before your bid is accepted over your competition for that same keyword. So you want to make sure that the keywords that you want to rank for the most in your PPC campaigns, that content is in your listing, either the front end that the customer sees or the back end. So as we mentioned, your top ranking factors, your title. I love to say use your 6 most important keywords followed by a dash. And I'm going to show you why that matters in just a second and how you can rank organically on Google by doing just that. Your bullets and your description. You want to use phrases over keywords. I can't tell you how many listings I've written after a professional agency has written a listing and they have smattered individual keywords throughout the listing. But this actually isn't the best thing for search engine optimization because customers search in phrases. As we can see here, my favorite free keyword tool is the Amazon search bar. And when I type in floor lamp, I see what people are searching for. You can see those little search volumes next to my keywords. And that's a keyword tool, a keyword browser extension for Google Chrome called Keywords Everywhere. And what it does is it shows you search volume for keywords across the internet. So this is not Amazon specific search volume, it's search volume across the internet. And as we know, Amazon changed their algorithm recently and all of our tools that pull Amazon specific search volume are really guessing. So it's really good to have a variety of data points when it comes to search volume. So I use this really cool tool here, but we want to look at in the Amazon search bar, what are those keywords that people are typing in? And why would we want to look at the Amazon search bar over using tools such as Seller App, such as some of the other great keyword tools that are out there? I love Seller App's keyword tool. I use it constantly. It's a great tool. But at the same time, I also use the Amazon search bar. And the reason is because this is what customers use. They're going to type in floor lamp and they're going to go, oh, okay, what are the suggestions? Oh, got it. I want that floor lamp with the reading light. So do you think that if your product is most relevant to floor lamp with reading light or floor lamp dimmable, that you might want to use that keyword phrase multiple times in your listing and especially in your title if you want to rank organically? Bingo, you've got it. You absolutely want to do that. And so that is the reason I use the Amazon search bar when I'm considering main keywords. All right, so we talked about the bullets and description. You want to use phrases over keywords. We just covered why. You want to focus on your main keyword phrase and not necessarily outliers. Of course, I know what you're thinking. Amy, we want to rank for all kinds of keywords. You just talked about having our PPC be very effective. And you're right, that's absolutely what we want to do. But what I've seen people do that isn't as effective is they will try and rank for multiple unrelated keyword phrases. So, for example, baby shower gift, they'll try to rank for that, and then they try to rank for baby bottle, right? And those are really unrelated keywords. The person who is looking for a baby shower gift is not necessarily going to make a purchasing decision on a baby bottle, right? So you don't want to try and optimize your listing for every possible keyword that someone could buy your product under. It's better to focus on related keywords. So if you're writing baby bottle, you want to focus on related keywords that are in that same genre of baby bottle, such as baby bottle plastic baby bottle, 32 ounces, you know, different things like that. That's a big baby bottle, but you get the idea, right? And as you can see here, you know, if we have floor lamp dimmable, but it also has a reading light, well, then we might want to use both of those phrases. Those are related phrases, but we probably wouldn't also want to use baby shower gift in our floor lamp listing. So that's what I mean by that. Focus on your main keyword and really use a lot of related keyword phrases. And then in your back end, we really want to fill out all of the fields. And we're going to cover that in just a second, but people always get confused about this. You want to fill out your search terms. You want to fill out your subject matter, which sometimes shows up in some categories as target audience. You want to fill out the intended use fields, as well as the more details tab. All of these things index and are part of how you are found and how well you are found on Amazon. So your title, this is what I was talking about, those first 6 words behind a dash. So this particular listing, Imagey dimmable 9-watt floor lamp, and then they've got a comma here. They don't use a dash until they get to 5-level brightness and color, and then they've got some slashes in here. The best thing is to only use 1 dash in your listing if possible, if you're wanting to set what's called your canonical URL. And you can see I've got it highlighted up here. And I'm going to show you what happens here. So floor lamp temperature technology is what's in their canonical URL. Who's searching for that on Google, right? Who's searching for floor lamp temperature technology? But sure enough, check them out. Because of that canonical URL, they are ranking #1 on Google. Well, we want to rank #1 on Google for things people are actually searching for. So we want to find a really great medium to long tail keyword that is super relevant to our product. And we want to use those first 6 words followed by a dash. And then the rest of our title, we don't want to use a dash at all. You can use commas, you can use pipe symbols, you can use slashes like they've done here. That's fine. But if you use multiple dashes, it will affect that canonical URL up there and also how you show up on Google. If you want to reset your canonical URL, you can simply use the techniques that I just gave you, and in about 15 to 20 minutes, it will update on Amazon for you. Sometimes to change your title, you do have to open up a case with Seller Central, and I know how much all of us love that. But you know, that's definitely something that is worth it. Your title is important. So your main photo, it's part of listing optimization. The reason it's part of listing optimization is because when customers search for floor lamps here, right, they see your main photo and your title. And what else do they see? They see your reviews. So they see your reviews, they see your prices, they see your title, and they see your main photo. So if we want to increase conversions, we've got to get people to click. So you can see this Imagey one actually kind of sticks out because obviously it doesn't have a plain white background. The listing may get suppressed for that, but it's okay. If it gets suppressed, you just go in there, you click edit, you fix it, and you click save and finish, and you're right back up. So sometimes I've found people have been very successful with testing out different main photos. If they're not getting sales, they'll swap out their main photo, and this has been a really great thing to do. So your main photo really matters. You want to, if possible, if you have packaging that could tell the story of your differentiation of your product, use it. Because obviously we know on Amazon, we have to have that white background. And it's sometimes the only thing to differentiate us is if we have an amazing box that our differentiator is standing out, right? Same way when you're walking through a store and you're looking on the shelf for great products, that packaging really stands out. So we can't use text in our main photo, but we can use text if we show our packaging and if our packaging is great. Now, if your packaging is a plain brown box, I would skip it. But I also love how this LED torch-here floor lamp shows their zoom in on their remote control. I think that's a good differentiator. It stands out from the competition. I like how imagey here, I like what they did with this beam of light because it really shows their differentiator, right? Oh, that looks cool. That would be great for reading, right? It gets the customer to click on it, what is in this case an ad, a sponsored ad, but gets them to click on the listing along with the reviews. Immediately on this particular row of search results, the first listing I'm not going to probably click on is the one that has 3.5 stars. Why? Because everything next to it has 4 stars or above. So, I just naturally customers look at those reviews and they're so important and everybody knows that, but it is part of your listing optimization. So if you're having a quality issue with your product where you are getting bad reviews, it's time to fix it. It's time to really make sure that your photos are telling the story of your listing. So speaking of photos, you really want to say it with photos. I can't tell you how many times I've been on a client call and somebody says, well, I keep getting returns, but it says that this product is rubber in my product listing. Oh, okay. Did you put that in your photos? Well, no, but it's in the product listing. Newsflash, nobody reads the listing. I mean, yes, people read the title. People sometimes, if you have really great copywriting, they get intrigued and they read it. But really, most customers, their habits are they shop on mobile, they look for that main photo in the title, they click on it, and they scroll through your images. And if you don't answer their questions in your images, you're done. They're moving on to your competitors. And we all know that Amazon does a great job of selling our competitors' products on our listing. So we really want to make sure that our photos are telling the story of our listing and that they are really calling out the benefits of this product, the quality of it, whatever it is that you think are your most important selling points. You want to call that out in your photos. Lifestyle, infographics, so important. All right, now let's talk about those blanks, filling in the blanks in your back end listing. So you can see on platinum keywords, I've left it blank. Unless you are a platinum merchant, I haven't met one yet, but unless you are a platinum merchant, this isn't going to count. So it's okay. That's the one field that I say it's okay, you can leave it blank. But all the other fields, I expect you to fill out. So how do we fill them out? Your search terms field. You can see in this particular search terms field, I have camping, space, pampered, space, student, right? That is the format that you want to put your search terms in. You do not want commas or symbols. Those take up 2 bytes and you have 249 precious bytes in the back-end search terms field. So you want to make sure that you utilize all of those and are not taking up 2 bytes with a symbol. So also, the search terms field, you don't want to repeat keywords that you've used in the front end of your listing. So if you've already used, if this is a camping stove and you've already used camping a million times in your listing, you are wasting precious space. Another thing, people always ask me, well, why isn't this word indexing? It says it's not indexing, but I'm selling a camping stove. And I say, well, it's not indexing because it's already in the front end of your listing. So that's often why you'll get that false positive in some of your tools. And people get very confused by that. But what you want to do, and there's a lot of really great tools out there for this, but there's great tools that will keep track of what keywords you've used in the front end of your listing so that you're not repeating them in the back end. In this particular case of this category, we have a target audience. And in some cases, you're going to see intended use here. So you definitely want to fill these out. There's 50 characters on each line. And as you can see, you can add more, right? And some categories have up to 5 lines. And you want to fill out your target audience and subject matter fields. And people often ask, well, Amy, how the heck do I fill these out? What words do I put in there? And I want you to pay attention to the departments and information on the left side of Amazon when you're searching in a specific category. So if I put in floor lamp and I pull up the search results, Amazon is going to give me all of this additional information. Well, guys, these are search filters. These are things that people search by. So if your floor lamp could be covered as Art Deco, well, you might want to put that in your subject matter or target audience or intended use backend if that is not in your listing, right? If it's transitional, if it's Asian, you know, and even in some cases, you may want to put in words that it is not, because it's still subject matter for a light fixture style, even if it doesn't apply to your specific listing, right? And often in our search terms, we'll do things like misspellings. We will utilize words that are similar to our main keyword that people are searching for. And I often get that when I deliver a listing, people will say, Amy, why did you use, pampered on the back end keywords? This doesn't have to do with my listing. What does that have to do with it? Well, I use a tool that shows me exactly what people search for when they search for that keyword. So that keyword phrase. So if pampered doesn't fit in my listing, I'm not going to use that here. Now, brand names, competitor brand names. It's against the terms to put competitor brand names in your search terms field. So make sure that you're watching out for that. I have heard rumors that you can actually put competitor brand names in the intended use field or in the subject matter field, and that you might not get caught. But don't take it from me, you guys. Use it in your PPC instead, right? As you can see under target audience here, I've got True Chef and Curious Chef. Well, those sound like competitor brand names, but you didn't hear it from Amy. You might want to just, stick to the rules and make sure you use those competitor brand names in your PPC campaigns all day long. Okay, so we want to, if you look underneath this department over here, look at all the different departments that you can find a floor lamp under. Well, you can utilize some of these words in your subject matter and intended use fields. Think about it. Home decor. You might not have thought to put that in your listing, but these are search filters, and that stuff indexes. So if customers are like, no, I want to look in home decor. The other thing that's really interesting is when I pull a URL from Amazon mobile, it actually puts people into a subcategory. When you pull up a URL from, on desktop, it doesn't put you into a subcategory. It says all, unless you actually choose that subcategory. But if you click the share link on a listing inside of mobile, many times if you pull it back up on desktop, you'll actually see that you're inside of a subcategory. So you'll see it's really, really important to include some of these additional categories and information where your product could be found in your back end. So play around with this, see what you can do here. And then also, we're about to move on to the more details tab, but you'll see fields in the more details tab, such as material, such as style, so you can actually add some of these words in the more details tab under materials and styles, and it will help your listing show up for even more searches. So definitely make sure you're paying attention to all of that great stuff that Amazon puts on the left side of the search results. All right, more on filling in all of the blanks. Another great way to get words for your back-end keywords is to actually use the product classifier tool. So inside of the lovely search bar in Seller Central, you can put in product classifier and click classify your products with product classifier. And as you can see, I've put floor lamp here, and look at all of the great information I have here. Do you think that if I put ceiling fans in subject matter, that I might show up for a few more searches? Yes. What about lampshade? I might not have even thought of that, but these are great additional words to put in those fields outside of your normal unused backend keywords. So it's very helpful to utilize the product classifier tool if for no other reason than to come up with really great ideas to fill out the more details tab as well as those backend keywords. So more details, we've talked about this, but you need to check out all of these fields in your more details tab. They'll be different for every single listing. This is why when I deliver a listing optimization, I never include this information because I would have to memorize like a million different products, right? But you can definitely look, like we said, on the left side of Amazon, and you'll see, and even inside of competitor listings, you'll see sometimes they have fields filled out, and you can map those to your more details tab. So make sure that you're paying attention to things that competitors have filled out that you don't in their listing, and then try to map that field to your more details tab, and then look and see where you see fields in the more details tab that line up with the information on the left side of the search results, the filtering on the left side of the search results on Amazon, and utilize that information to fill out your more details tab. And you're going to show up for more searches than your competitors, which is the key, right? And then we got to make sure that when they click on our listing, we have great reviews, we have great photos that tell the story of our listing, and they make a buying decision. So Q4, I know you guys are paying attention to Q4. It's exciting. It's the biggest time of the year for sales. We all know that. But you might find some new cool keywords for Q4. I do have to tell you, many times people don't realize though, if they completely re-optimize their listing. So if you add, for example, Christmas gifts for readers, that would be a great, best gifts for readers would be a great bullet point to add to your listing, right? But as we look in the Amazon search bar, I started typing in Christmas gifts for RE. I was looking to see if there were any suggested results for that, and I didn't get any. And what I often see listing optimization professionals do is they will try to put in every single holiday in that gift bullet point. They'll say, this is a great gift for Christmas, holidays, birthdays, baptisms, baby showers, everything. Well, nobody's searching for those phrases, you guys. You're not going to rank for anything if you don't really focus on what is the keyword phrase that is gifted, that is related closely to your product. You really want to make sure that your gift keywords line up with that. And you could very well rank for something like best gifts for readers. Your floor lamp could show up there, right? So make sure that you're checking that. And make sure that for Q4, if you have a product that could possibly be seasonal, you may want to make sure that some of those keyword phrases are added to your listing. Additionally, just keep in mind, if you do optimize your listing, it's okay to add content. It's okay to add additional keywords to your backend. But if you completely change out your title and your bullets, the search engine crawls your listing and goes, this listing has changed. Start over, reindex the whole thing. And that's why often after I optimize someone's listing, they come back to me and they say, Amy, my sales have stopped. And I say, did you do anything? Did you drive traffic to your listing after you optimized it? Because you're starting over. All of your history is starting over. So if you're wanting to add additional phrases to your listing without completely re-indexing, if you have a listing with great history that's selling well, that you've already ranked for with PPC, you definitely don't want to completely re-optimize your listing. On the same token, if you have a listing that's not doing well and you can't find your listing organically in search for your main keywords, that's when it's time to consider optimizing it and making sure that you're using keyword phrases and all the tips that we talked about in this presentation. All right, so the gems for those Q4 keywords like Christmas gifts, that kind of stuff, make sure that those gems are added to your listing. As we mentioned, you want to make sure that you add it You don't completely change out the whole listing unless you're ready to do some additional PPC. You're ready to start driving traffic to your listing. Maybe you're going to do a big Christmas promotion. And so for you, that means rewriting your whole listing for, best Christmas gift for men or something like that, right? That's fine. Just make sure that you keep that in mind, that if you do re-optimize it, that you need to make sure you're kind of doing a little mini relaunch. Adding photos to show your product as a gift is really, really great. When people can see that product as a gift for themselves or as a gift for others, they see it with a big red bow on it, it helps in converting customers to make buying decisions. So you also, after you've added those additional keywords to your listing, such as Christmas gifts for men, something like that, right? Well, then you want to run PPC on those keyword phrases. You've already added the content. Well, why not get some additional attention to those? All right. Now, page visits is really, really important. As soon as you completely optimize listing, or as soon as you write a new listing and you're launching, page visits are what helps your listing index. Have you ever noticed when you write a new listing, you can't find it unless you type in all of the title? It's part of actually getting things moving. So before you start PPC, it's very helpful to get some page visits. A great way to do this is with Amazon giveaways. Amazon has a giveaway program, and I don't do giveaways to count for sales. I do giveaways to get page visits. So I'll create an exclusive promotion for everyone who enters the giveaway. And then when Amazon says, nah, you didn't win, you're not entry number 1499, well, guess what? You get 30% off right now. Great. And so most people, they came there for free. They came there to win that product for free, right? But if they see 30% off or more, they'll go, I guess I'll go check out the listing, and they'll click on it. And when you're fresh and new with a new listing, it's great to get those page visits. I know some people freak out about that because they're like, yeah, but Amy, it'll screw up my sessions and then I won't rank. Well, initially when you have a new listing, it's great to get those page visits for indexing and then start your PPC, and you're going to get lots of impressions because your listing has been visited a whole bunch, and Amazon goes, oh, okay, maybe we should take another look at some more keywords in that listing. It's getting visited a little bit more. That's my search engine voice. So external traffic. I can't tell you how many 7 and even 8-figure Amazon sellers that I have met that have told me they have never done anything but PPC. I'm just going to let you think about that for a second. External traffic is ranked 3-to-1 over Amazon PPC in the algorithm. You really want to make sure that you are, when you're launching or when you're doing a little mini relaunch, when you're re-optimizing your listing for Q4, you really want to make sure you're running external traffic. Google ads are great because there's intent to buy behind them, right? A lot of people say, I can't figure out Facebook. It's not working for me. Well, people go to Google. I think something like 78% of Amazon's external traffic comes from Google. So it's really great to run Google ads to your product. They're cheap. They're super cheap because you're running them to a huge domain like Amazon, and Google goes, oh, I recognize that and people trust it, so I'm going to show your ad, versus running it to your website. Now, you can't track conversions because you're not running it through a third-party URL, and Google AdWords tends to not like that. But make sure that you're running some external traffic. We recommend at least 3 forms of external traffic when you launch a new listing, and then continue that external traffic. What often happens is people do these big launch campaigns, they'll do giveaways, they'll do discounts, all this stuff, and then they run that for a few weeks and then they stop everything external. And the algorithm goes, we were getting all excited because we had all this external traffic visiting this particular listing and we ranked it up, but now none of that's happening anymore. That looks like that was a launch promotion. Let's just move it down, right? So it's really great to keep your Google ads running or some form of external traffic, even if it's organic social media posts. Pinterest is great for this if you have a product that is perfect for Pinterest, right? Pinterest is great because the life of a Pinterest pin is 1,480 times, I think, the life of a Facebook post. So it will show up in Google search results. So if you're looking for organic external traffic, Pinterest is really great for that. Again, check your ad and organic placement on desktop and mobile every week. I love looking at listings from a customer perspective. Many people just focus on what keywords they're ranking for. They use their tools, but they never actually look at their listing on the page that it's on next to competitor listings. And often you can miss what critical things Amazon tells you, such as what customers are buying after viewing this listing. Look at your listing from a customer perspective, and you're going to be able to make those changes that are going to increase your conversions. Make sure you remain the most compelling click on the page next to your competition. And as we mentioned in red at the bottom, when you do a full optimization, you hit the reset button on your indexing and you've got to take action. We've talked plenty about that though. All right. Sales in every season. I know Q4 is great, right? We make tons of sales. It's awesome. But make sure that you continue to optimize all year long and that you pull keywords from your customer search terms and your advertising reports. There's some gold in there. Add those things to your listing. Rank for new long tail keywords with lots of intent to buy behind them. Create different mock-ups of your product and post those things on social media to see which ones get the most engagement. You can kind of do some split testing. And as we mentioned, you can do that with your main photos as well. But the bottom line is get out there and sell some stuff. And I hope that these tips have really helped you do that. All right, bonus offer. So do you have a listing that you're like, I don't know. I don't know if it's good. I don't know. I'm confused about the back end stuff. I don't know what's going on. Well, you can visit me at amazingathome.com/listing review and give me the link to your listing, and I will send you a video review of your listing, exactly what I recommend, exactly the keyword phrases that I would put in it to help you make an organic page one listing. I will even tell you the main keyword that I would consider for your listing, how to fix your title, all that kind of stuff. I love this stuff. I'm a total listing nerd, so please help me out and let me, review your listing. I'll have fun with that.
So thank you so much, Amy, for your insight and your amazing presentation. I know our viewers will definitely, if they take advantage of the bonus, they'll definitely use it to better their Amazon listing. So I'd like to move on to the FAQ, if that's all right with you.
Okay, that sounds great.
So our first question is, you mentioned about prioritizing external traffic over PPC. Could you give us some ideas on how to drive external traffic to one's listing?
Well, really, as I mentioned, Google ads are great because there's intent to buy behind them and they don't take a whole lot of customer research. And we talked about Pinterest too. But the big thing that a lot of people miss is knowing your market. So you should really know where your customers live online. Get creative. I've seen people run Amazon ads inside of Candy Crush. I've seen them run, I've seen it on my Fire TV. I've heard them on my Echo speaker. So get creative with your ads. Reddit has ads, you can run ads just about anywhere on a blogger's website. Like there's so many places where you can run ads. I love pre-roll YouTube ads. Those are taken care of under your Google AdWords dashboard as well. But really think about where will your customer most engage with your product? Where are they most likely to click and go, oh yeah, that's awesome. Right? Is there a YouTube video that's related to your product? If you're selling an electronics gadget or something like that, is there a video that where somebody does like gadget reviews or has tons of subscribers? Well, in Google AdWords for pre-roll YouTube ads, you can literally you can target videos for your ads. So, I mean, imagine just a little 30-second video showing the benefits and the differentiators of your product right before a really popular gadget reviewer that gets tons of views. You're probably going to get some clicks and some conversions from that. So I would just challenge you to get out there. And then the other thing that I am always asking people is, are you stalking your competitors? If you have a competitor that's doing really, really well, and I've seen this time and time again, clients will come to me and say, Amy, this competitor though, I can't get my sales going, but this competitor is like killing it. They're making all this revenue. It's like, well, have you stalked them? Have you looked at, do they have YouTube videos? Are they using influencers? Put their brand name into Google and see what comes up, right? Check out where they are advertising and steal some of that, right? Why not? So, try to get more creative than them. Try to do even better. Try to one-up your competitor with your ads. So definitely, I would choose ads that are going to be where your customer is hanging out. And I would get creative. Think about all the places that you have seen ads. Pandora, listening to Pandora, Spotify, like there's a million places that you could run ads. Groupon. Even on Amazon, I see people running ads to like external websites. So there's so many cool creative things that you can do with advertising. And I just encourage you to get out there, do some research, stalk your competitors, and make it happen.
Great, thank you. So you've given us some ideas on how to actually drive the external traffic to one's listing. But maybe once they get there, they notice that the listing is overpriced. So why do people create overpriced Amazon listings?
Well, this is a concept called perceived value, right? So sometimes when you look on a certain page for a search results of a page for a certain keyword, floor lamp dimmable, we see all these different prices. And sometimes in a customer's mind, they'll see a more expensive product as automatically higher quality. So it's not always the best strategy to, play the race game to the bottom of, the lowest price, because often customers see that as, oh, that's probably something cheap. And I don't, I need my floor lamp to last and not electrocute me, right? But something that I often see people doing is they'll overprice their listing, but they won't show that quality in their photos. So if you're going to make your floor lamp $80.99, when every other floor lamp on the page next to you or in sponsored ads below your product, when somebody scrolls down and says, oh my gosh, $80 is a lot, is in the $20 to $30 price range, you better make sure that you are selling the crap out of that listing, right? You better make sure that your photos are premium and that your infographics are on point and you're pointing out exactly why they need this product in their life, why it's premium, why it's quality, and why they should choose yours over your competitors. And if you're not doing that, then you're simply overpricing your product and you're not going to get those conversions that you love. And sometimes I've heard people say, well, it's okay, Amy, because if I get one sale of that $80 floor lamp, then I've made, $40. Well, sometimes your competitors will beat you in volume then, so you have to think about your strategies. And there's nothing wrong with pricing a listing high as long as your perceived value lines up with your photos and the price that you've set.
Of course, yeah, perceived value is definitely important if the price is really high compared to competitors. So for the next question, why does the buy box go missing on Amazon listings? And what should a seller do in terms of their plan of action?
Oh man. Okay. So I see this happen time and time and time again, and it's because of price changing. So there are price thresholds that you can set for your product, but one of my specialties is helping people scale beyond Amazon into retail stores, independent retailers, big box retailers, stuff like that. And when you go to retailers, whatever you're selling for on Amazon, that's your price, right? You can't say, oh, well, my MSRP is $60 Target, So when you buy my product from me wholesale for $30 and then the target buyer goes and sees that your product's selling for $34.99 and last week it was $23.99, they're going to go, no, your price is $23.99. So it's not actually normal for people to constantly change their prices. This is not a good habit. And Amazon recognizes this as manipulation. So they have this little trigger set up on the buy box that if the price changes more than 2% from the last price, you will lose the buy box to yourself. So what that means is the buy now offer will not appear on your listing, and people will see the, more sellers from 1999 or whatever, like the link, the really tiny link that people have to, and they don't actually understand how they can buy your product. So how can you prevent this? I understand when you launch, you definitely want to price competitively so that you can rank fast. We're not looking to make a bunch of money when we launch. We're looking to rank and, get it going crazy. And then we're going to slowly raise our price up. Got it. I get that. Right. But what you can do instead of constantly changing your price in your main inventory screen on Seller Central, and this is what we do when we help people set up their listings, is you set the price that you ultimately want to sell it at. You set that price in your offer tab on, in your edit listing, right? On your offer tab, you set that price. And then whenever you want to price it lower, you run a sale. So right on that offer tab, right below the main price, the selling price, you have an option to run a sale and schedule a sale. So that will not cause you to lose the buy box. You can move your pricing around as much as you'd like because it's just a sale, right? And it's a good way to prevent that from happening. Now, as you mentioned, if it does happen, if you lose the buy box and it happens, you definitely should open up a case with Seller Central and say, I screwed up. Something's going on here. And most of the time they will tell you to set price thresholds. So set your minimum and your maximum price. But a way to not have to do that at all is to just use the sale price.
So besides what you mentioned earlier, like seller manipulation, what are some other reasons why Amazon might suppress a listing? And how can a seller ensure that their listing doesn't get suppressed?
Well, we did mention that, if the main photo is off, sometimes Amazon will suppress it. And, people freak out. They're like, oh my gosh, my listing got suppressed. What do I do? And like I said, you just click edit and you go in and you'll see little triangles that tell you what's wrong. But there's many different reasons. We had the big hazmat debacle more recently where I think Amazon was like sued for something. And then they, sent the web crawlers out to like crawl and flag all these listings, and everybody had to do hazmat training, and all these listings got suppressed, and that was craziness. So other reasons are if you utilize if you use competitor brand names, sometimes, in your listing writing, sometimes they'll suppress it for that and send you a nasty email and say, remove this content from your listing. And, but the other things that can happen is if you go against style guidelines. So for your category on Seller Central, you can bring up the style guidelines. People often get this confused with terms of service. It's not terms of service, it's a style guide. So if you try to change your title to something that is not within those style guidelines, sometimes they'll say, nope, we're suppressing it, right? But make sure you check your style guidelines. There's some words, like if you use like free or bonus, and you put that like in your title, sometimes you'll get suppressed for that. You can usually get away with like those types of words in your bullets or your description, but yeah, Amazon will definitely suppress a listing sometimes for utilizing that in your title. And it's really, as we all know, it's just like, how is Amazon feeling that day? Sometimes you will be ungated in something. Sometimes you'll be able to sell, like you'll list your baby product or whatever, and everything will go fine. And then all of a sudden, and this recently happened with weighted blankets. I had a client selling weighted blankets and they got tagged as medical devices because Amazon had this big thing going on with the FDA where supposedly all these products were approved by FDA and they weren't actually approved. So Amazon went through and tagged a bunch of listings, and I had a client that had that problem, and she had to like get her FDA registration and turn in all this information for a weighted blanket. So those are, some of the reasons why. Also, certain terms, if you use the word hemp or CBD, if you use the word CBD anywhere, even if you advertise for it. We were working on an advertising campaign the other day for a client that had CBD, and we advertised for CBD, and it was a recommended keyword by Amazon, and we put it in there, and immediately the listing was suppressed, and we were like, whoa. And all of a sudden we saw in the campaign that it was ineligible because it wasn't in the buy box. And we're like, what's going on? What happened? So then we go back through and we removed CBD from that campaign, and just that fast, as soon as we saved it, we removed CBD from the words, it was back up. So it's crazy. So don't be afraid to just ask the question, open up a case, give them a call, find out what's going on. It's suppression is not suspension. So work with Amazon to figure out what needs to happen and get it fixed.
Like you mentioned, using a brand name is definitely not a go on Amazon in your title. So what do you think our viewers should keep in mind while deciding the product title?
Well, as we mentioned, you want to definitely use a long tail keyword that is really, really relevant to your product, those 6 words before the dash, so that you can have a really great canonical URL. But other things to keep in mind for your title, some categories have shorter titles than others, but titles have a really huge ranking factor. So you really want to make sure that you're utilizing the most relevant phrases for your product, and that you also are paying attention to what that title looks like on desktop and mobile. I wrote a listing the other day and it was one of mine. And, and of course I screw up my own listings, people, that's what happens. But I published it and I didn't realize that I was over the characters, and the last word made no sense. Like it was a phrase that was like cut off. So it's good that I constantly go back and I look at my listings from a mobile standpoint and from a desktop standpoint. And I say, okay, am I really saying what's the most important thing? Also, if you have a differentiator for your product and people are searching for that phrase that is that differentiator, which is one of the techniques that I tell people, if you're differentiating your product, make sure people are searching for what's different. Because, if you just launch a green coffee mug and you're like, I'm different, I made a green coffee mug, there's no green ones out there. Well, you're still, you're not really differentiating for something that people are necessarily searching for. If you are differentiating for something that people are actually searching for, make sure you have that in your title. That should be called out right up front, right? That should be right there, because remember, when we look at the search results, the title's often truncated and all we see is that. So, if your green coffee mug has LED lights, well, yep, better put it in the title and it better be showing, if that's your main differentiator. So often people forget about that, it's really important to call out your differentiation right in the title, especially if you're in a really competitive category. If you're selling supplements and your probiotics have 20 billion CFU, well, that should go in your title. People are searching for that.
And I know you mentioned this in your presentation, but could you tell us how can someone use Amazon product categories to optimize their listings?
So I actually, I was playing around with this the other day with a client. And what you have to watch out for, I don't know if some of you guys have noticed, but a lot of Amazon has been playing with categories lately. And they've been kind of like recategorizing some of their categories, like renaming them. And a lot of people have lost their category. So there, and what happens is they actually, if you have a plugin that shows BSR, like I think I use DS Amazon Quick View, and it shows like the product rank and the BSR right there, right in the main search results. And I've noticed lately that on a lot of main search pages, the BSR is gone and it says none, but you'll see that usually that means that a product doesn't have any sales history. They don't have a bestsellers rank. They have no sales history. But I've noticed lately, like, wait, that product has 200 reviews. It didn't, it has sales history, obviously, unless the listing was hijacked, right? But ultimately, it's really important to pay attention to your category. And if something happens, and remember on mobile, we were talking about how on mobile, Amazon automatically filters people down into categories as they're searching. So if your product belongs in baby, but it's in home and kitchen, swap it out. And if you're not sure if you're also ranking in baby, well, then utilize those main search keywords when you're on mobile and make sure your listing's popping up organically in great places, right? So in that case, you may not need to change your category. If you're also already searching, choose the baby category, for example, if you're thinking, oh, okay, and check, because you may have already indexed for that and Amazon may have already ranked you in that category without you even realizing it, even if it's not your main category. So before opening up a case with Amazon or using the product categorization tool to recategorize your product, make sure you actually search for it because you may be ranking in multiple categories.
So how do you increase sales conversion rate with Amazon listing optimization?
Well, as we mentioned, photos are super important. I make sure that I utilize phrases over individual keywords because it does much better for organic ranking, and I get a lot of Amazon's choice badges that way. But definitely, coupons are a really great way to increase sales conversions. Why? Because Amazon has a great place where they promote coupons. And coupons show up right in the buy box. And my number one rule when I work with clients is do not let that buyer that clicks on your ad scroll down in your listing. I don't want them to scroll down and see all of your competitors. We're not doing that. So we want a coupon right up in there. We want our price to be competitive. We want our reviews to be on point. We want our photos to tell the story of our listing. And we want to have some compelling, awesome copywriting. Even if, you want your title to have your differentiator in it. You want to, catch the customer's attention. But I can't tell you how many times I've gotten on a consulting call and said, hey, tell me what's so great about your product. Like, why should I buy it over your competitors? And this seller will tell me everything that is so great about this product. And like, I'm ready to buy right now. And then I look at their listing and none of that information is in there. There's no character behind their copywriting. And I realize it's often because, they hire that out. And that's smart sometimes. You want an expert to write your listing. But at the same time, make sure that your copy isn't dry. In my listing optimization forum, when people hire me to write their listing, I ask them those questions. I say, what is so special about your product? Tell me, because I want to sell the heck out of it. And I always put that in bullet point number 1. Because most people don't read the listings, as we mentioned. And, if you can catch their attention, you're going to catch it in the title and you're going to catch it in bullet point number 1. So I try to always be creative. I was writing a listing for a shark. It was like a shark beanie bag or something. And I like started the bullet with baby shark do. Because that's going to catch their attention. They're going to be like, wait a minute, that's awesome. So have some fun with it. Utilize keyword phrases. Make sure everything is on point, that nobody feels the need to scroll down in your listing, and utilize Seller App's awesome HTML product description editor, because y'all need an HTML formatted description, okay? Because that's what shows up first on mobile before your bullets. And so I want your description to be beautiful and easy to read and not like a giant blob of text. Add videos. Videos are really great. So add those. In your reviews, get creative, connect with your audience, see if they will, do a review contest, see, who can do the most creative review or something, do something fun and just, get the word out about your products, drive that external traffic, have fun with your copywriting, and really just represent the best version of your products so that you can connect with those customers that are going to make buying decisions.
And so to move to a more social media side, nowadays a Facebook business page is almost a necessity for an Amazon seller. So can you link your Amazon listings to your Facebook business page?
You can. There is several ways to do this. You can even, well, first of all, there's the basic way, which is the shop button. You can create a shop button where you define the URL. You can do this on Instagram too. You can use Linktree on Instagram to utilize several links inside of your Instagram profile. So you could do that. You could just change out your link on Instagram whenever you're doing like a fun post for a product or a promotion. But yes, you can edit that shop tab on your Facebook business page and you can direct it right to your Amazon listing. And then the other way to do it is if you have a website that has direct affiliate links to your Amazon products, or, I use WooCommerce on my website where I have the link to my products. You can utilize two-step URLs. Those are really great to get some extra keyword action going on. But what you can do is you can then list those products. You can use the Facebook plugin. You can list those products on your Facebook page. And you can also sell and tag those products on Instagram. And that will go back through and it will go to your website, which is what? Leading them right to Amazon. So it's another great fun way to also you can install the Facebook pixel on your website and then get some additional information, even though you're also driving them straight to Amazon. So there's lots of different ways to do that.
Great. And for the last question for our FAQ, I'd like to refer back to your presentation actually. On slide 2, I would like to ask about, is there a way to change the product title like the way that you mentioned?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, you can make sure that the only dash that you use is after those first 6 words. If you have more than 6 words, I often get this question, it will truncate one of them, but it'll still be pretty effective, right? But if you make sure that the rest of your symbology in your title is not a dash and you get your title updated, then it will update your canonical URL within 15 to 30 minutes after you update the title.
Great. So we have come to the end of this session. I hope the viewers have gained some insight and become a little bit more well-versed with the art of Amazon listing. So thank you, Amy, for taking the time out of your day for our viewers to give us some valuable information and help them create a perfect brand image for their businesses. So any last comments from you, Amy?
No, thank you so much for having me. And I wish everybody an amazing Q4 and amazing sales all year round. And, it was really a pleasure to get to talk about my listing optimization nerdery with you.
Well, we wish you luck with all of your future endeavors, and we hope to see you again, Amy.
Thanks so much, Lisa.
So for our viewers, we still have a lot of sessions left from our exclusive speakers. Follow us on all of our social media accounts for updates, and check out eliteconf.com for more details about the Elite Conference.